Okay, Pika, let's try this again. You know what it's like to be talking to the microphone, talking to the camera, talking to you. You look over and you're like, wait a second. You've just been talking for 4 minutes straight, and you know who hadn't set up the camera yet. Oh gosh, it happens though. Live and learn, kid. Live and learn. How you doing today? Welcome back once again. It is time for the Comics Coffee Table. We are taking a break together. We're using our time wisely. We're getting our minds off our minds, and we're enjoying a coffee break together here at our Comics Coffee Table, where we sit down daily, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, daily, and we talk about comic books. We love comic books here, and it's our way of enjoying our coffee break. As what better way to take our mind off of our daily trouble? And I hope that you are running your problems and running your challenges and running your mood and not having them run you. Namaste, indeed. God bless you. Thank you for showing up. This is the Comics Coffee Table. Yum. Pull up a chair. Grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today. Pull up a chair, sit beside us. At the coffee table was always where my friends and I would be hanging out, shooting the shit. And there would always be a stack of movies, What did Sully... Oh, did Sully make the stack of movies? Oh, he had to have. Look at that. Ugh, I don't want to watch Clue again. We want to watch Clue again. And there was a stack of music. Usually compact discs in their jewel box cases. And a stack of books. There's always a stack of books around, and there was always a stack of comic books on the table. We were trying to get each other to read and turn each other on to, like here. Here, try Deathmate. I need 2 more. And then if I wanted to be the ultra collector, you know what I mean? There are, like, with Deathmate Peach, and Deathmate Mauve, and Deathmate Infrablue, and there's Deathmate Red and Black that I have to get. And I'm not getting it for the story. And it's a great chronicle of the experience of the early 1990s comic book explosion. I mean, Valiant hadn't sold to Acclaim yet. The ambition of Valiant and Image crossing over, the Kevin Smith joke in Mallrats. That Shannon Doherty laid down. That was just great. But yeah, there would be a stack of comic books. I would try to be getting you to read Deathmate, and then when you were done, you'd be like, Sully, what the hell did you make me read that for? And I'm like, but look at that prologue. It's Barry Windsor Smith, inked by Jim Lee. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? I said Lucy and Ramona and Sunset Sam, people on the streets trying to find a plan. Lisa and Ramona and their brother Sunset Sam. Yeah! That one's going out by request to Yule Carter in Berkeley, California, from Sully of Southie on the internet. And happy Friday. We're back. It's our very own comic books talk show. We are on TV. We're on TV, all of us, right now. You're on my TV right now. Hopefully it's 3 p.m. It's 5 minutes past 3 on a Friday afternoon. And this is me right now. Boop, boop. Hopefully maybe I'm at the pub with a pint of Guinness in front of me and my fish and chips. Or maybe I'm in the subway tunnel, many feet below the surface of Boston, Massachusetts. Pre-recorded live before a studio audience of stuffed animals from our Boston studios. Enthusiasm, no extra cost. This is me right now. Probably, it could be you, in the live chat. And I'm blessed and grateful if I'm able to make the live chat. And it's just, I get out of work at 2:30 p.m. Yeah. So, if, like, commute notwithstanding, I'm there with everyone else in the live chat talking comic books on our coffee break. Yes, there's a mission to this show, an activism, a messaging, an agenda. I admit it. It's on the nose. And I'm trying to get you to go back to your local comic book shop. I go once a week for new comic books. I have a YouTube culture. I have a YouTube sphere of comic book creators and of YouTube creators talking comic books. It's great, and I'm here for that. And I'm here for Wednesday is new release day at the local comic book shop. Wednesday is like sacred ground, holy ground, Highlander. It's like, who starts fights in a comic book shop? The shit you hear on Twitter, people don't talk like that in a comic book shop. It's holy ground. There is respect. There's no other way to put it. So enjoy that experience. Go to your local comic book shop, and why? Because the purpose of this show is to rebox, rebag, and reboard my entire collection. And while we're just going through old comic books, we're appreciating them, we're opening them up, we're looking at the ads, we're getting our heads around grading and giving them value. These two books were given to me by my parents last year for Christmas. So this season is dedicated to my parents. I love you. Thank you very much. We're using the Overstreet guides to grading comics and the price guide. Haven't you ever wondered, how much are all of these funny books worth? Well, the information's out there for you to access, and I'm learning about a part of my little niche hobby that I was never exposed to before. This is all new to me, and I appreciate this experience. I'm learning, and I just want to say the purpose of this show is for entertainment purposes only. If you have any legit questions about the condition or value of your funny books, bring them to your local comic book shop. The staff, and especially the owner, should be able to grade that comic for you and give you a value. And you can get a second opinion from a professional slabber as well, or bring it to another comic book shop and see what they think. That get a second opinion. Indeed. While we're at the big thing about our show here on this channel is about the local comic book shop and how it's the fulcrum of our culture as comic book fans. Now, YouTube is doing it's probably the main competition, I gotta say, to the experience of conversation. But yet, it doesn't replace that, because there is a benign quality when you're at the physical location, and you don't have the anonymity of a screen name or the ability to even have a sock puppet account to bash people with. It's easy to be hurtful when you're not in person, especially when you're not in arm's reach of whomever you're speaking to. Hey, I'm from a bad neighborhood, South Boston, Massachusetts, 02127, baby. And we invented, hey, did he have it coming? Well, you're going to talk that way in person to someone in arm's reach of you? Maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't. You don't have that at the comic book shop. So keeping these comic book shops open with our patronage is a huge part of my show. That's our show. And the messaging. The message is get your ass back to your comic book shop. Since we're reboarding, rebagging, and reboxing my entire collection, I'm getting all my supplies there at the brick and mortar mom and pop shop, the local comic book shop. It's important to me. And I'm agreeing to pay retail markup for this. I could be getting a great discount and free shipping from my online supply chain. The one with the built-in movie network. Yeah, we know. And, but no, how does that help keep my local comic book shop open and a thriving business? Especially post-lockdown 2020, when we almost lost a lot more, comic book shops and mom and pop local businesses than we realize. I mean, we need to help keep our local businesses open. And so that's my part. I'm doing my part. I'm this is how I'm doing it. And this sense of evangelism. I'm not just a comic book fan. I'm a fan of being a comic book lover and a fan of the comic book shop and the experience. And each shop has their own flavor, their own speciality. It's a wonderful experience, and we invite you to be part of this. This is the part where there's no gatekeeping involved. Once you get into other people's business, and then once you get into the story, every universe has their own physics. Every universe has their own rules. Those aren't gates to be kept. That's just the physics of that universe. Lore and canon are part of those physics. And a great unified theory of fiction and fandom and individual, what we call IP, where maybe that's such an unromantic term, an intellectual property of a corporation. How about the world of Space 1999, or the world of Marvel Comics, where there are Pym particles and unstable molecules, and new gods of like DC, where you have such outrageously powerful things. They have their own physics. It's not gatekeeping. It's science and philosophy. I don't know. Putting it out there for you. But yeah, I'm getting my bags, boards, and boxes. I'm migrating from long boxes to short boxes. My long boxes have done their duty. They've protected their contents. I should have been using boards the entire time. My bad. Live and learn, kid. And so while I'm migrating to shorter boxes, the older I get, the heavier they get. I weighed myself on a scale with a full long box. 50 pounds. Wow. I mean, yeah, so be kind to yourself, and be kind to your future self, too. How about that? And be kind to your past self, too, especially if you're thinking about bad memories. Be kind to that person. They may have made a mistake. You don't have to be suffering for it now. Namaste. Also, I'm getting bags and acid-free boards. Yeah, so yeah, I need supplies. You do too. You go get your supplies at your local comic book shop, and keep getting it there, please. I mean, keep them. We are a symbiotic circle. We really are, and it's the fulcrum of our culture. And YouTube can't replace it. Social media definitely can't. The comic book shop is kind of like the comic book convention. It's a holy ground, one could say, and where there is an expected behavior and a standard for it as well. And embrace that. Embrace getting out of your house and being with other fans in public, people that you might not agree with, people that you might not like. But guess what? You both might have Hulk 181, and you might be like, hey, man, oh, look at, well, really? That is called common ground. And a comic book shop is a great place to achieve a common ground, in my humble opinion. Okay, I'm almost there. Jeez, that's a SpiderMan. All right. So we like talking about stacks of funny books, right? Holy shit! Okay. Get your hand under it. They're in order. Don't mess with it. Okay. Now, after the band broke up, that was like me living with one of my best friends in a beautiful South End apartment that was featured in the rock videos of Till Tuesday and the Voices Carry video and Love in a Vacuum, their follow-up single. They shot in what would eventually be my apartment on Worcester Street in the Back Bay. And so me and my buddy had a conjoined comic book collection. And that's what, like, my renaissance in 2001 sparked his renaissance in 2003, 2004. And a big part of the stacks of funny books on some of the coffee tables of my life, And he got me reading, we call him DB. DB got me reading Ultimate Team Up and Ultimate Spider-Man. This is I'm going to show you a stack of comic books, and this is why we're going to need like a whole week on Ultimate Spider-Man, including the Ultimate Universe too. I really like the Ultimate Universe, but you can see what I liked and what I bought. What's missing is probably a bigger indicator of what's present. You know what I mean? Or just as relevant. Like, I didn't buy Ultimate X-Men, and I love Mark Miller, and I didn't buy Ultimate Fantastic Four, and I love Warren Ellis, and eventually I have a like-dislike with Jonathan Hickman. I mean, it's not that I hate his stuff. It's just sometimes I don't think it's quite my cuppa. You know, it's like, okay, here's a better one. It's about like beer. You like beer? You drink beer? I like stouts, porters, lagers. I hate anything hoppy. So, you know, sorry, my stepdad's his nickname's Hoppy. So, not you, Hoppy. I love you, Hoppy Poppy. But like hops in beers, such as IPAs, that really stringent, acidic bitterness that goes with the high alcohol IPA. People really dig that flavor. People dig sour beers as well too. I don't dig sour beers, but it's like, so, you know, Ultimate X-Men to me is like an IPA. I'll take a couple of sips of it, but I ain't gonna drink the whole bottle. I mean, I'll try it if you it ain't my thing. But a Guinness Stout, an Imperial Stout occasionally, or wow, look at this stack of funny books. Wow. So when I moved out in 2006, 2005, 2006, we lived in so the band broke up like 2005 or 6, and a lot of the stuff that I was reading was his, and some of the things I had got left behind too. So my physical copy relationship with Ultimate Spider-Man starts at 75, and and that's like when Mark Bagley left. After Mark Bagley, like, you know, so I was like, still has too, every floppy from Ultimate Spider-Man Ultimate Team Up 1 with like all the way through, like, you know, where I left, and he continued too, of course, but SpiderMan, which was interesting. Before the look, Miles Morales, and this is the first Miles Morales run too. It's not the first appearance of Miles Morales. It's Miles Morales' first issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. I got some Ultimatum. This is a two-parter called Spider-Man Requiem. I think the last issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, because that's what happens at the Ultimatum. What was Ultimatum? Ultimatum was this weird, universe-changing, consequence-filled place of mostly life. I mean, mostly death, and where legacy was really an act. There was like Wolverine got killed. So there was a young son of his that had claws. He was James Howlett, and he was the new Wolverine. Peter Parker gets killed, and saving everyone, and everyone knew who he was by the end. He got kind of like, you know, in Far From Home, he gets outed, and he dies protecting everyone, and so everyone knows who Peter Parker is, and that he's Spider-Man, and he's the boy that saved New York City, and he died saving us. And he was a New Yorker. He was a kid from Queens. And so when Miles starts wearing Peter's old costume, now there might be, I wonder if, like, here, we're going to look in the book. The first appearance of the new costume. That might be worth something. To the book! Oh, okay, this is the wrong volume. This is volume 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man. This is before Peter dies. Volume 3 is Miles. And I thought I had the beginning of the picture. Where it's here, isn't it? It's gotta be here somewhere. I got Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is... somewhere inside my long box. Okay, yeah, but I hope you're just getting the point. Well, we're going to need some time to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man, and that this is proof of the pudding's on the plate. The proof is never in the pudding. The proof of the pudding is on the plate. How much you ate. Is it a clean plate? Did they barely touch it? What was the reason? Blah, blah, woof, woof. But yeah, I mean, look at all of these advertisements. Who are these directed to? Goodness, I was wrong about that one. Ultimatum, I forget, or was it what was the big ultimate climax that killed Peter? And Blob ate Wasp. We need to talk about the Ultimate Universe a bit. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna put these back. That's gonna be we're gonna board bag. We're gonna get a box, maybe a special. We're gonna need a special Spider-Man box. I think, yeah, that sounds right. A special Spidey box, because there's more Spidey in here. Got some Ultimates too. I got these on. This took so long between issues. I thought I had all of these, but apparently my Ultimates collection, Ultimates 2, starts at issue 5. I probably had maybe the first trade paperback. We waited forever for this. Do you remember how long it took for Ultimates 2, issue 13 to come out? Let's look at the Indicia colophone real quick. It's a huge, nice, thick issue, man. The trader, there was a trader on the team, and they turned Hank Pym because remember Hank Pym took that beating from Steve after it was shit, like, you know, he abused Jan. Yeah, this is so Brian Hitch is returning to the Ultimate world soon. It's going to be ultimate stuff on. Oh, let's look at now. This is, oh wow. So here, this is the gatefold. Damn. Brian Hitch splash page. Centerfold. This is superhero comics. This is comic books. You know what I mean? This is a Mark Miller. Is, you know, and his collaborators. Like, they are the inheritors of that spirit of Image Comics of the early 90s and of Marvel Comics in the 80s and DC in the Bronze Age, you know, but look at this. These are all the ultimate characters. These are the Ultimate Avengers. This is the last battle. Then from here comes Ultimate 3, which was written by Jeff Loeb, I believe. Give me a second to fold this back up correctly, please. What a beautiful thing, and great, and nothing but house ads for inside every single one of those pages. Aw. I wonder if they would do Last of the Mohicans again. May 2007. Let's look at the Indicia colophone. Yeah, we didn't read it. February of 2007. Now we're going to look at issue 12. See that publishing gap. This was a $3.99 comic 15 years ago. Oh, and speaking of Ultimates 3, you got Joey Mad's artwork in here, which was my
first experience with Joe Madureira. This was insanely great to look at, but story-wise, I mean, it was a complete change in tone. It was supposed to have been from Miller's work. The Ultimates 2 Annual. Who is that? That's Captain Falcon. That's Sam, his best friend. One of my favorite things. Oh, look at that! See, yeah, look at that! Isn't that a great comic book cover? Look at that! I mean, just I loved the look of the Ultimate X-Men, but I didn't read them much, you know. Fantastic Four were pretty good, and Ultimate Reed Richards becomes he does a heel turn. He turns from face into heel, and one of the best heel turns. He becomes an arch villain known as the Maker, and he's still in play in the Marvel Universe too. Yeah, it's X-Men First Class. See, I like that kind of like redesign. You know, I like those uniforms. It's a nice play on the classic stuff. So let's. Oh wow, August of 2006. Damn. Yeah, there was a year in between. Yeah, huh? But yeah, I mean, but the Ultimates 1 and 2, that's where the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, that's where it began. The Avengers, the look of Captain America, the kind of direction and the storytelling, you know, and let's see, I stayed in for Ultimates for 2 issues, yeah. And so I gotta say hi to Jeff Loeb at the con, and oh yeah, the Ultimates, the Ultimatum, the Ultimate Wave, Magneto. That's when I started tuning off. I didn't see Peter get killed. I was kind of just like reading other things, doing other things. There's a bird chirping outside my window, which I think is nice. Actually, I greet my day with bird song, and it's really nice. Awesome. What else lurks in this? Mostly Marvel. There's some clumps of DC in here. This was nice. Spider-Man Unlimited. I like these like anthology. This was nice. Paul Jenkins. This was actually a pretty sweet story. Like as single issues go. Yeah, Spider-Man Unlimited is just you know, some kind of anthology stuff. When did these come out? To the Indicia Colophone. This is July of 2005. Pretty good, yeah. It's got really good art. So it's got 2 stories in here. So it's like non-canonical, or you don't have to worry about all that baggage. You can just open up a funny book and enjoy a Spider-Man story. Is that so much to ask? I have friends in my YouTube sphere that are struggling with modern Amazing Spider-Man and what they're doing and where they're going and how it's done and who is this made for and why is this not entertaining and why can't, you know, they're going for something. Well, you do have to put your protagonist through a lot of damage or harrowing things. I don't want to use the word traumatic because these are not real people. These are fictional characters. I mean, I think trauma is really overplayed in comic book fiction. Everything is trauma now. Everything. If I was diagnosed with PTSD in November of 2020 after a traumatic experience at work, my best work friend literally dropped dead of a heart attack during 10:30. We're getting lunch out. I was worked next to him for years. I held his hand and waited for him for the ambulance, and they weren't able to save him. And And that's something, after a lifetime of seeing different things here and there. I saw a gun violence when I was 15. I saw a woman and an infant get gunned down. Like Bruce Wayne this is like Bruce Wayne stuff, dude, but real life. So I know what trauma is. I know what PTSD is because I suffer from it. And it's in the panic attacks and anxiety and the debilitating physical state that it can leave a human being. I think trauma is really overrated in comic books, and it's overdone. And I think the turkey's done. It's aspiration. See, Superman is maybe we should use a nice big shining example of a non-traumatic superhero, not trauma-based superhero, not a Batman, not a Spider-Man. Look at Superman. He's about aspiration. He's purposefully designed to be hopeful, and he's got family values from a farm, of a Christian family, of a certain part of the American experience, and how through this American lens, even the most powerful of us can become merciful and know how to use their power wisely through this exclusive American lens where people are allowed to be free and not bound by their trauma. But so yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get all personal and shit. I'm quite open with this experience of my life. Yet the constant, thing. Look at Jessica Cruz, the Green Lantern. I think she's got a lot of potential as a character, but wow, that's just a really deep. Like Batman himself, he excuses his behavior, and his diagnosis. I mean, there's too much of that these days. I mean, I gotta say, as someone who is legitimately PTSD, a lot of the emphasis is on us to reconcile the world with our reaction and our experience. The world will go on, and the world does go on, and we need to, make this place more of a sea that we can sail on instead of it being a rocky ocean. There will always be rocky oceans. Can we navigate across that bay and get to the other side safely? It's a metaphor. And it's the deep end of the pool, too. I'm wet behind the ears with these references and puns. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, daily, when we talk about comic books. Click on those notifications. Ring that bell. Subscribe. If you like this kind of content, be part of it whenever you want. Join the conversation in the comment section, in the live chat, 3 p.m. live, U.S. Eastern, daily. And whatever time of day you're tuning in, God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.